I think
Okay.
Kelsey has something.
Okay. Go ahead, Kelsey. Did you have something?
Yeah, in New Book 4, you talk about the time makers. Would you talk about that a little bit?
Okay, why don't we, all right, we can talk about that. Okay. Okay, Kelsey's question is about New Book 4 and the time makers. Okay, so we're in creation, and the time makers, as Paul called them, I call them time masqueraders or whatever, he calls them the time makers. These are part of the deception of the Kalam God, who basically rules creation. He really doesn't rule creation. It only kind of looks like he does. He's part of creation. He's kind of like the authoritarians on the earth, that they look like they rule the earth, but they really, really don't. It's all about agreement, is what it is. And so, yeah, the time makers themselves, it's interesting. It's like marketing ploy that we have here. Those that control the earth, I call them the deceptors, and by other names. They also have agencies and people working for them. They've set this up through their monetary system. They've created a monetary system, and they set it up accordingly. And they're the little workers out there, the little worker bees that, do the marketing ploy because they're paid very well to do it. And the time makers are with the Kalam God and the deceptors, etc. And this is what they do. They create situations that appear to be aligned with this thing we call time, in time and space, basically the time factor, okay? And this has got an agreement, all right? And as we go back to, I'm going to give a little comparison here, as we go back in time, people use the sun to indicate certain things, and the Indians did the moon thing. It was like many moons, and this took place during this time or whatever. They didn't have calendars, they didn't have watches, etc. They went by what nature demonstrated is what they did. Now, what we have today, at a certain point, the idea that there is time came in, and watches were made as an example. From the old sundial days to, ideas of watches. Well, again, as soon as these inventions came in, like the monetary system, it became a position of control. And this applies to karma and reincarnation. In other words, the time makers, what they do, their job, is to basically make sure that people unconsciously agree to the idea of time, so they continually come back unconscious as supporters to the system. That's the whole idea, you see. Prior to this, with the indigenous people, many of them were more aware with the natural environment. They could leave their bodies. They had certain experiences because they weren't so much the effect of the outside world. Well, today, we are the effect, for the most part, of what has been created in society, which we kind of call, one way to say it is the industrial age, okay? And to where things have become what they have. We have buildings, we have roads, we have freeways, we have cars, we have planes. This is the industrial age. These things look really great, but actually they work against us and they help destroy the natural environment because they're not created in a way that really supports the natural environment, but actually destroys it. And it destroys it very fast. It's destroying it very, very fast. And this is where it's come to be business as usual. It's all about business now. Stuffing things in boxes, shipping it out, selling it, etc. We have the internet, all these things. It seems like a great life, doesn't it? Well, it'll only last so long. Just like all the civilizations that have come and gone on the earth, it'll only last so long. So in this brief moment of time, we'll call it, okay, etc., the time makers manipulate what others have, been used to and living with, the day-to-day process, you might say. So what they've done, like the monetary system, again, you go back to the Indians. Did they have money? Did they have banks? No, they didn't have any of these things. Things were brought over by the Europeans, etc. We use that idea. The warlords, they brought this over. They brought these systems over. And they also brought the factor of time, because it controls elements on the earth. The idea is that, one of the ideas is very simple. Everybody does it, but not everybody, but almost everybody. You take out a loan. Let's say you have a piece of property. You take out a loan to buy a house. You only have so much time to pay that back, or they take it from you. You see? So this is where they control the situation. And really, they're not interested, for the most part, if you pay on the loan or not, because they will take the property back because they have an interest in it. So it all looks good. It all looks legal. They invented the legal system. So you see how the factor of time plays its part in our day-to-day living. And we have been marketed and rehearsed to the point to where we totally agree that we need to agree with time, but actually we don't. But it would seem as though we do, according to the business world. But there is a bigger view, and that is your real awareness once you understand what's taking place. So, the factor of time, book 4, it's very good, because also the time makers can provide situations, and they do, to where they actually hypnotize the public into particular, I'll say, time sections of time. And they manipulate these sections of time. Now, they can do time travel, which anybody can do, but they do it, they use all this machinery, all this dangerous machinery and whatever, and the governments have set up many programs to do this because they want to go into the future or the past and try to change things according to them. Well, again, it's manipulating time and space, cause and effect creation, so they're locked into it themselves. And this is what most people don't realize. This is one of the things that we're, sharing with others, and that is that, in cause and effect, each person is their own cause and effect. This is how it works. People in their minds thinking that they're getting away with something, thinking that they're clever because they figured something out in time and space. They figured out how to make more money than somebody else, how to become more popular or become more influential, or whatever the idea is. It's all silly, because everybody becomes the effect of themselves. And this includes the factor of time. Because again, most people know they only have so much time to do something, when realistically, that's not so. But we as worldwide educators, I see and I realize we only have so much time here to provide what we do, because of those who are destroying the planet at a rapid race. At some point, the communications are going to be gone, the environment is destroyed, people are going to be struggling. And then it's going to be harder to communicate and share something real, as we're doing, and wonderful, to provide this to others. So we only have so much time. They have all the time in the world, you might say. It would seem like, but they really don't, because again, they will go into future lifetimes. And this is where this reptilian effect comes in, and it goes hand in hand with the time makers also. And that is that that's why this planet is human farming, is what it is. Because this is what the reptilians live off of. But what they don't realize is that because through the eons and many, many thousands and thousands of lifetimes, gets into a whole lot here, they have deformed their own body types to where, like parasites and leeches, they have to live off of others to even survive, which is really sad, because they don't, they're not even able to get to the point to where they have, the parts in their body, etc. Like we have I'll give an example like chakras, the third eye, and things like this. The different body parts and the different body parts that are in the other bodies we have, they have so misused their body types that now they're struggling, is what they are, to the point that their body functions aren't working. So they're using people like us and others to tap line them. And so again, and as the person is tap lined, and this includes the whole idea of the time makers and everything, because they know they only have so much time. It's like a fly or a bug. They only live so long. And then they get into another embodiment and another one. The thing is, it gets worse and worse for them because of what they're doing. And so as people are astrally tap lined, and again, most of the public has no idea that this is going on, and it's been going on as long as the Earth is here, as long as the reptilians, who are the original invaders, who created all the funny doctrines, are here. They have been infecting people with tap lining. And now it's just coming after thousands upon thousands of lifetimes. People are starting to wake up to this, starting to see this. It's a huge process. We learn very little each lifetime. And so it's come to the point where this tap lining, people are seeing what's taking place, and that's diseases and cancers and what have you. And for the most part, the systems of the world, the political, religious, spiritual, educational, scientific, and so on, for the most part, these people are controllers and tapliners, is what they are. They're working with the deceptors consciously and unconsciously. Not all the time are they consciously working with them. An example is that the governments of the world, most of them have military, and they build bombs. They build bombs, they build weapons, what have you, okay? Basically all of them have this, and even nuclear weapons, etc. They've all got them, whether they're marketed or you see it on 6 o'clock news or whatever. They're all making deals behind the public's back, behind the curtain, so to speak. And, many people are out there working in the industry thinking they have a great job supporting them, where actually, even if they're making a screw or a nut and bolt, where is that screw and nut and bolt going? Well, it could be and it's most likely going to help screw the fighter planes together, the battleships, and create weapons and bombs. It's all part of that. It can just be a screw, you see. So again, there's a whole chain of events taking place here in time and space. And time itself is very interesting because it becomes a binder. It's agreed to. It's like the 9-to-5 boring job that most people have. It's based upon time, isn't it? And as you put your time in, you eventually get what they call a retirement or what have you. In other words, or you get paid at the end of the week. It's all based upon time, isn't it? Now, did the Indians do this? As an example, that were here before the white man came, and many indigenous people, around the world. No, they didn't look at things like this. They had their own way of doing things, but it wasn't according to that. They basically lived off the land. They supported the natural environment. They didn't purposely destroy it unless something was to take place, etc. They intuitively knew what was going on. So today, we have a whole different situation. And for those, like I said before, those who don't wake up, they will continually be the effect of it. Again, the system, especially the educational system, the standard educational system, has been set up to really market people into a one-dimensional, basically brainwashing, mind control situation. Now that sounds really bad, doesn't it? And it's like, well, people are out there going through school, wanting to get their degree, etc. Again, where are you going? You're going to find some job that basically you work for one of these agencies that control the earth and are actually destroying the earth. And this is where there is a world consciousness, a group consciousness amongst the world, a civilization consciousness on the earth agreeing to this business as usual time factor idea that keeps grinding away the natural environment on the earth. And it also affects the inner bodies of the individual emotionally and mentally, etc. And this is where the educational system, for the most part, is one-dimensional. It only pertains to the physical. It doesn't allow people to, see and understand what else is taking place, a bigger picture about themselves. It curtails itself to just this one-dimensional idea of being controlled. But people don't see this. People think in their minds, because they have free will, that they're free. But actually, they're not. There is no freedom on the earth. There is none at all. Because time is one of the factors and the agreement to it. But then again, time is not good or bad. It is just an idea that's been created. That's all it is. And it can be utilized to a benefit, but for the most part, it is used as a control factor of others. And it's simply understanding how this works, that's all. It's not eliminating anything. It's not negating anything. It's just simply understanding how the process and these ideas and inventions that we're experiencing here work. That's all. And then, again, having fun, understanding, and then, deciding to make better choices, to, if you're going to create something, to, if it's ideas or an invention, to where it's a benefit for everyone overall, and it doesn't affect the natural environment. Okay. Chris, did Vesna have something?
Yeah, her question is, what is the difference between creation and the all is?
Okay, so we're taking a bigger step here from we as wonderful worldwide educators, and that is creation itself is exactly what it is. It's not any more than what it is. It is simply creation. And everything that we're experiencing here has been created. If it's from the ideas or the reality of taking the dirt and making things out of it, such as glass, buildings, cars, tires, clothes, whatever. It all came from the dirt. Everything came from the earth, which was already here, which became a decision from the true reality life is, created the physical realm as the simulator for us to have experience in, to eventually wake up to the true reality life is, the all is. And the all is itself, all I can do is give an example. You really can't explain what the all is because it's in a position of, no matter what you say, you're not going to get it. You have to learn to recognize this. So it's a position of recognition, and this is where the real universal guides come in from the real side, and also here. And as we go through experience with creation, which is the simulator, and whatever we do here, eventually we wake up and have a comparison to what is not real to what is real. So the best example I can give of the all is like the sun shining. It just shines upon all. It's an isness. And so, again, most people have been taught to think, which is your mechanical mind. This is your mental body. This is not your real awareness. People think they're the brain or the body or the mind. No, these are just vehicles. These just like your car. That's all it is. You're just using these vehicles to gain experience, so you have a comparison to recognize what is real. So again, the best example I can give of the is that it's like the sun shining. It's an isness, and there is no definite conclusion to what this is. All right, there's no definite conclusion. It's simply recognition. That's all. You cannot, it's like we manipulate matter here. We decide things, and then we have an idea, we imagine something, and imagination is part of our faculties, and we put it together in some physical way. This is what our mind tries to do with our physical body to try and make sense of this reality, but it cannot, because this reality is pure and it's free. It's without flaw. Now, what has taken place here over time is the control factor from what is known as the basic ideas, the gods of man. And these are simply individuals on other levels that have created an influence over others and gotten them to agree to this influence. And we have the world as it is today, which is self-destructing. This is what happens in time and space creation. It always happens. And again, just the brief history that we have, and it's not all the true history that we have. We see down through the ages, etc., all these civilizations that have come and gone, and the transition and the world wars, etc. It's always been confrontation here. It's always been takeovers, battles, destructions, etc. And even prior to the known history, which those that control the earth, they're very aware of this because they were there. They helped create these situations. You go back into Atlantis and Lemuria and other continents even before them that are not known. But they don't want people to know about these things. They don't want people to remember that they've been here before. So they've marketed people into, again, a one lifetime, one-dimensional arena. It's like kind of like heaven or hell. It's like you've got to agree with us or you go to hell or whatever. You have this you have this idea here, and most people, of course, they don't want to go to hell, but some people, they're agreeable to going with it, but not realizing you're basically in it already. So hell is a state of mind, but it can actually be a place. There's the lower astral realm where these purgatories do exist because they've been created there. It's just that simple. So the difference between the all is and creation is the simple fact that creation is what it is. It's self-evident. We're creating. This is where we are. In the real universes, which I call the seventh level and up, beyond the bubble of creation, because creation is just a bubble in life. That's all it is. Like one of the round worlds, it's just a place in life. But it seems endlessly huge as you go through it. Just like as we look at the physical realm, we see endless black space and planets and stars and whatever, and seem to go on forever and ever and ever. Well, actually they do not. It only appears that way. It's the appearance of things. It's like a house of mirrors. You can set up mirrors a particular way where they constantly reflect each other, and it would seem like it goes on and on and on and on, but it doesn't. It's just a reflection. And that's what the psych realms are, the 5 basic psych realms of the physical, astral, causal, mental, and etheric realms, which are very important for us to experience and have these bodies so that eventually we can wake up. But it is a huge struggle here. It's like climbing a mountain, without the gear, you might say, just barefoot, bare hands, and we're going to climb up Mount Everest in the winter season. This is what it's kind of like. Eventually recognizing the all is. It's a huge climb. It's a huge task for us to earn our way up, but this is just the struggle of life, and we see it all around us, just like a chick breaking out of the eggshell. You don't see the mama chick cracking the eggshell. The chick has to do it by itself, and it's just a little chick, and it's barely got fur, it's barely got any protection at all, but it's got to hack its way out of that shell, you see, and that's just how it is.